What's up, guys? This is day 6 at Banff, and here you can see we are setting up our bag, brand new bag for day 6 here. So here you can see we have aligned it into our Guide for Ultimate Golf app. So if you guys haven't done that, make sure that you do that. Typically on this first hole, especially that pin, I usually try to blast it. I'm worried with this wind direction that blasting it's going to put me a little bit in between clubs. I'm just going to probably not power it and just kind of let it fly. We'll try to get it in a range to where we are in short iron range. Cyclone, not always my favorite, just because the spin level for the backspin, not the highest. So the more that you can stay towards max club for this, the higher the spin will be. And as you can see this is where, we would have been. So maybe boosting up a power shot would maybe give you just a little bit easier chance. And this might be a time, this is hole 1, probably want to get off to a good start. So I would maybe switch back and do like a different ball pin combination. In fact, let's just do that. So I'll just restart. I have 2 restarts, as you can see. I would recommend you guys getting better prepared. It's not always the best to burn through these replays yet, because you might find you want to go back over the entire setup. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of switch up my options a little bit. So let me switch balls. We'll pull something that's 1180 maybe, or maybe 1083 or something. What do I have? Low rider's pretty good, 82. Eagle Heart's definitely pretty good. 985. Needler's in the 70s. T-Rex maybe? Let's try a T-Rex. Just gives us just a little bit of boost. The more, and this is actually similar to the Star Force that came out this week. So very similar that you guys can do if you guys pick up that new ball. And then, maybe I just do an extra power ball pin. And you can see what this does. It gets my wind down into the 2s. So in the 2, it just makes it that much more likely. And then with the extra power, this is the same power pin from the Star Combo pack as well. So worth picking up. If you guys see them, it almost like it was set up for this, because it's just gonna help you make sure you stay within range. It looks like you may or may not need to go through it. And, here I'm thinking somewhere towards 90%. You'll see that I typically put this ball guide pretty aggressive on the hole. It's going to collapse down a little bit. I do have things like Hive. Hive may not be the best because it doesn't have quite the distance as Zeus does. But let's just see what it's looking like. Maybe 90, 95, 93 on a Zeus, I'm thinking. Somewhere in there. I just wanted to get a nice visual of what we were looking at, and that's what my guess is. It was closer to 90, what was it? Closer to 90 or something on Hive, or 95, or I forget. But I'm just trying to, kind of assume that Hive is going to have a little bit more extended range. So this is saying maybe 7.3 rings. Just kind of go in the middle here somewhere. Like I mentioned, 7.3, 7.4, somewhere in that territory. So let's give this a go, see what it looks like. Maybe just a little bit off on that angle pull. Trying to get this in there as close as possible is going to be your best friend. The closer that you can get that in there, the better. So hopefully you guys are able to get that one. So best of luck on that one, guys. And let's take a look at the second one coming up. Of course, a little bit in between again. A little bit of a nasty situation here. Maybe some extra backspin is something worth equipping. This is another pin that is available this week in the package. So we're just going to set up, and as you can see, it is towards the min of this. Let me see if I've set up a ring span for it. It looks like I haven't. You know, maybe in this one instance, I'll just be able to use the min value. No big deal. But we should try to get our alignment a little bit better. So maybe 2, 2, 3. Let me just fix this and at least check out the span, because I think I'll be using this a couple times today. So there's 10 rings. There's, is that 15, 14, 14 and a half, something like that. 14 and a half. And we'll say we were 2 from max. It should be relatively the same adjustment. 223 is still going to be min there. We're just going to be about 227, as you can see. So maybe just a little bit beyond the max adjustment. So if we're trying to go 227, just try the best that you can to stay in that zone. Is that 2.2? Is that 2.3? Somewhere around there. Also keep in mind that it's going to be a little bit trickier to figure out these wind angles. All things get, oh, I think I had that landing pretty good. I just maybe misjudged the way that it was going to run out. I thought that wind effect was going to help continue to shift that over. But maybe the smaller wind in the twos just kind of neutralized it a little bit. So there you can see it just not quite breaking towards the hole, but it landed right where I wanted. It was like left center. I was expecting it to kind of hop right a little bit, and it didn't. So it was probably more my setup or knowledge of what that break was going to do, more so than anything, or or wind effect. So a combination of that is probably what caused that to go awry. And on this hole specifically, you know, sometimes I find myself in long iron range. I'm not going to blast it or anything, just get it out here. Don't want to get myself too in between clubs. So let's just see what this looks like. And I'd imagine we may be using this Raptor again. 3.7. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. I'm forgetting a little bit. My playing days are not what they used to be, so I don't play nearly as much. Remember, that's the way that I used to play it, but I really thought it was long iron range. Maybe I'm thinking of that other back pin, where it's just a little bit longer. This one breaks, I believe, to the right. I typically used to try to break this left, try to keep this on plane with the hole. I don't know if I've set up a pane for this, so let's just do that real quick because we're going to be using these clubs a lot. So that's 10, that's 20, that's 30, that's 40, that's 50. Lots of rings on this club. 60, as you guys can see. 70, 80, crap, man. Thought I would have been done by now. 90, this is crazy. That's how much accuracy this thing has. It's like 92 rings. Don't even have 92 for, I remember there was only a few exceptions. People don't really use Cyclone that much. So we'll have to look at that Span on this one is more in the 92 range. What's nice about this is it's very close to the max line. So we'll just factor that into our shot making. Just got to get our speed down. I'm thinking maybe something like leaving it this many rings short. I'm just going to pull it a little bit down for max. You know, if we assume that our max is 90 and we're coming down a little bit, it's going to put it more in the like 90, 85, 90% club range. Just showing around 10, 6, 6 rings. Do that in 2 pulls. And the hardest thing about this shot is trying to know how much it's going to roll out. Oh, it looks like I changed that spin wrong. Because it landed right on plane with the hole. I thought that one, maybe that's not that pin. Maybe I'm just forgetting my pins. Maybe there's a different pin where it breaks to the right, because that one definitely did not break to the right. So don't do what I did with the spin. That seems like the biggest mistake, because it landed exactly where I wanted it to. I was trying to make it roll out straight, and then what did it do? It bounced straight left because of that side spin that I put plus wind effect. So a combination of those two. This is what? Hellfire 4. Let's see if I've set up a span for that before. Looks like I have not. So let me just go ahead and establish a span for that. That's 5 rings. It's 10 rings. 11 rings, something like that. So 10 is a pretty good estimate. It's 11 something. Keep in mind that you guys can use my spans. Whatever my span is, your span is going to be. As soon as you set that up, should be good. I used to take a little bit of spin off of this. So may only go like 4 bars. It just keeps the momentum up this hill a little bit. And what was this, like 1, 2 rings from the, like 1, 2. We're going to do right around 4 backspin. What is that? 2 bars of right. 1 from min. Maybe just a little bit more. 226 it's saying. 226. I'm a little unsure about the rollout, but you can see this is just a little bit over one ring. Maybe 1.1 rings from the pin with 4 backspin. Let's see how close that is to right. We'll go 226. Which looks like about that. Looks pretty good, just over the edge. So we gave that a very good effort. 895, maybe just, 1 tick mark is all the difference between dropping that and leaving that on the edge of the cup. And the other thing is you could just have just a tad bit more. You could stay true to that adjustment and just do just a tad more right spin. That would be a similar alternative solution to getting that out. And one of the things that you can do on a hole like this is we could go top spin. Of course, this is optional. You don't have to apply top spin. But what you might see is you'll get just a little bit better rollout. As you can see, hitting this side hill is going to do wonders. I'm just going to take some of this over power. Try to get this to land on the fairway portion. You may need a power pin. Just a slight power if you can't do it, but it looks like mostly full power just about did it there. Pretty perfect. So I was able to get it to the fairway. And you can probably equip the right ball combination to just, do a nice easy max shot. You can see we can get this club out here 400 yards with the extra top spin. So it's your option to do. They are, selling the top spin pins this week. So it's a good time to invest in some. So they can definitely come in handy. I like to use those frequently in my guides. Pins for me definitely make the game a little bit more enjoyable to play. And this is what, right around 5 rings from max here. So we'll set this up 224, it's saying. The hardest thing about this is getting the speed plus slope down. So it's speed plus slope. And just a little bit, maybe over pull plus, it looks like I got it to roll out pretty straight, but just a little bit heavy on the adjustment, a couple clicks. Maybe just a fraction off on the wind angle as well. Keep in mind that jitter makes it hard to know, do I rotate just this much or do I go 1 or 2 clicks more? It makes it a little bit more unstable for you to know what your pull angle is. That's where hitting the ball close is going to be more important than anything. So always try to capitalize. And you see, I almost do 3 to 4 right spin on this. We're going to try to straighten out this slope. Again, this is going to be very close to that max adjustment. I'm going to go even beyond 3 on the side spin. A lot of slope on this. So again, we're going to do something very similar to what we did. We just put that club at max span, and we're just going to use real close to that, max-ish number, maybe 6 rings, saying about 12, 13. So just beyond 12 rings. Let's see if this climbs this hill. This is not always the easiest pin. Looks like it's landing about where we want. Oh, so biggest mistake that I made there was just setting up the ball guide too aggressively. Use through some practice pins if you need to, but you can use that starting setup to say, oh, it's going to roll up the hill still this much. So I need to pull that much down the hill to get that distance to run out. Because you don't want to be like me and what was that, 791? You want to remove as many of those from your swing as you can. As you've seen, we've kept it more in the 860s, 890s, 1780. Like, you want to keep those numbers as high as possible. One little slip up like that is the difference between falling down the leaderboard, because you'll see with this wind jitter a lot less holdouts. So since there's a lot less holdouts, you need to be as precise as possible. And there you can see another straight out shot. Usually I believe this is going to be long iron, but let's see if we get ourselves in a sticky. It looks like we did. So we won't be able to go in between clubs too easily. So we might have to do this just a little bit differently. Maybe some kind of slight top spin shot or something to the effect of no spin. You can see I'm going very much heavy on the right spin here. That's 6-7 bars worth. Other than that, we're keeping this guide pretty aligned. I'm thinking something to the effect of this, landed on the front of the green, 7 bars of right. We're just trying to get this distance control down. And as you can see with this distance, we kept this towards max club a bit. So again, you know, starting about 10 rings for max, pulling up 10.3 maybe, 10.4, somewhere in that. The hardest part about this shot is going to be distance control. You got to find a way to get yourself more in between clubs. You know, you can either go a little bit shorter off the tee, or if you do want to hit this cyclone, go just a little bit longer. Let's just see how this comes in. Up the hill, pretty good. And we got our speed control down, 860. All things considered, that looked pretty good. I do think, you know, maybe that left pointed wind maybe changed my guide just a little bit extra. So a little bit over pull, especially with topspin. When you're thinking about topspin, you probably got to be thinking over pull. And it kind of slipped my mind there. So when I see 10.4, you know, maybe I go 10.7, maybe I go even 11, because you're changing the dynamic of the shot. It's rolling out more pointed towards the wind. So if the wind is pointed to the left, it's going to roll out more left because you're not backspinning it. So definitely something worth considering. Now I know the blast approach on this one is probably going to be the one that you want to take. It's hard to get this out as far as you need it on this hole. This is a very long hole. Always difficult to play. I'm imagining we're going to be going Raptor at least. Let's see if we even got to Raptor. We did not get to Raptor distance. So very, very long hole. Usually backspin is our friend on this pin because it's a little downslope. So I'm going to utilize all mine. What was that, about 3 for max, give or take? We can go, or 3 for min, sorry. So we'll keep this down here somewhere right in there. 250. 250. And again, you know, your pull angle is going to be the most crucial thing that you do. Just trying to get that pull angle down. Let's try right in there. Was that only 150? I think I need to pull this 250. I think I messed this pull up. Was this where my starting point was? Pretty sure I messed this pull up, so I'm just going to reset real quick. Get our alignment. I think that'll run out. I think I was only going, maybe I did it right. So 250. And it's coming in pretty good. Oh man, just over the right edge. So we had everything aligned. It's coming in nice and just over the edge of the cup. So a very nice adjustment there. Very good opportunity. You know, and like I mentioned, you know, always reiterate, you know, those practice pins, stuff like that. Going to give you a good opportunity to pass this challenge. This is always going to be a hole that you want to grab. So make sure you are getting your eagles. Don't get too aggressive with your tee shot. Don't try to take off too much of that corner. If you guys want to use a power pin, going to make it that much easier to get there. I would know I want to stay away from, you know, and maybe just something like a ball pin. You know, this is one of the ones that are available this week in the shop with the Star Force. So with that Star Force, This is the power pin attached to it. You could even go top spin. If you want to get out there even a little bit farther, it's going to make that approach that much more manageable. Here you can see 310 left, straight tailwind. We just want to make sure that we get there. So 310, I believe it usually rolls out. Let's see if it does. So this will be your guys' indicator, whether or not it does or not. 2-3, I'm going to overpull. That same top spin mentality, you always need to overpull. So I'm going to go maybe 2-6, 2-7. But real tough to be a precision player when you're having to apply all this top spin. So let's just see how much this rolls out. Keep in mind this has a ball power pin on it. It looks like it's going to come up just a wee bit short. So at 310, full spin is not enough. So maybe a top spin pin on top would be one way to go. The other way, I probably could have got there with a full overpower shot. So that's my alternative approach. So I just need to blast that full overpower. You don't want to get yourself too much in, one of these in-between distance, make this putt harder than it has to be. Also, you'd also like to have more than 1100 tiebreaker. So if you guys can get that closer to the hole, use that guide as your starting point though. You see what I did with the power with just a ball power pin, which is an extra 5% boost. So using that extra 5%, maybe we blast that full power and we get in that 1700 range, maybe. But you might want to use a practice pin just to be on the safe side. Go through it a couple times. Good opportunity there. You don't want to throw away too many points on that 9th green. So the more that you can do, the better. Keep that in mind. Best of luck and try your best to make it into that finale. That's where the top prizes are. So focusing on day 6, having a good round, using those replays, using those practice pins, get the ball as close to the hole as possible. Give yourself that best chance to get to day 7. So best of luck out there, guys, and see you guys next time. Take care.